Great. Now, there. We stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I have a motion to open the meeting.
So made.
That's it. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Mike.
forward. The meeting is now opened. This meeting is being taped and can be viewed by SMAC, so please, everybody, act accordingly. As per my previous and this board's previous policies, when we get to the public speaking, everybody will be able to have an opportunity to speak. No more than 5 minutes. You cannot get up a second time, and if it's going to be a repeat of previous people's things, please, I don't want to keep on hearing the same thing over. If it's a repeat, just please continue on. Thank you. I'm going to open up. The next item is item number 2, continued public hearing on case file SP 25-008 and special permit case file SP-003. Public hearing will be held to petition of the applicant, property owner Catherine J. Texiera and Robert Desmond, 277 Whitman Street, Bridgewater, Mass. Request site plan review under section 10.6 to construct a 3-story, 52,515 square foot mixed-use building consisting of 43 apartments and 1,220 square feet of retail space with parking, landscaping, drainage, and other site improvements. The special permit request is per section 3.1.4.A.10 to allow mixed-use building in the central business zoning district and allow for parking waiver per section 6.1.9. The property is located at 576 Pleasant Street, assesses map 68, lot 188 in the general business district zoning. Gentlemen, we're up.
Good evening. For the record, Eric Dias, registered professional engineer, Strong Point Engineering. With me tonight is Anthony Rosito, who is the applicant, and legal counsel for the applicant, attorney Mark Grabowski, is with us. The last time that we were here, we had a discussion about, obviously we heard from the abutters, we kind of updated some things. We had some comments from town staff that we're in the process of responding to. But one of the big things that we talked about with the board was the parking special permit that we had submitted. If you recall, under the zoning bylaw, the project requires 108 parking spaces, and we submitted a plan with closer to, I think it was right around 80 off the top of my head. So we sort of straw polled the board the last time we were here, and I think it was pretty clear that the board was not necessarily in favor of a parking reduction on this project. So since the last meeting, we have withdrawn that special permit request without prejudice. We have submitted another set of site plans showing full parking build-out as is required under the code. And as part of that submission, we've addressed the outstanding comments that we had from the Developmental Services Department. The other thing that we've been talking about that's been, a pretty substantial topic on this project is the traffic. So we did engage VAI, Jeff Dirk, who was a fantastic traffic engineer. He has provided, and VAI has provided, a full traffic study that has been sent to the Developmental Services Department, and it is being peer reviewed by GPI. And I believe that peer review is underway. And additionally, we have done a water flow test out in the area, as that was another concern. So we know that our most recent submittal is still in the process of being reviewed, both by town staff and by third-party peer review. But we wanted to come before you tonight, see if there are any questions that we could answer. I think, by and large, we haven't gotten too far into the site plan itself. So we wanted to just, give the board an opportunity to make additional comments on the site plan, and just kind of take it from there.
Anybody else want to speak from your side? No? Okay. Bill, I'm at the point of
we haven't prepared a formal response to the revised plans yet. We haven't performed a technical review for the follow-up plans. So that's in the works. We have engaged GPI. and they've been sent all the information. They'll be performing their peer review. And then they've actually just gotten started on that. We expect that to be done, what date did they say, September, early September. So we'll have that back, and hopefully that'll be in enough time so that we can get our review of that and those comments back over to the applicant in hopes of being on for the first meeting in September.
Go ahead.
And in your packet for tonight, I've included all of the correspondence that has been received from the since the last hearing. So the comments that were received for that last hearing, you have those already, and then the comments that were received after the June 26th, everything is within your packet. I believe that I would recommend that you for the record, acknowledge the comment, who it came from, and the date. You don't technically have to read them all in. They're very long. You could reference who it came from, the date, and you could just say that their comments,
That would be,
yeah. So that's how you can treat if you want to treat that. And then, yes, GPI is anticipated to have it done in about another week to 10 days, which would give us time to do our finished review, their review, complete a technical review for the Friday before the 11th, because that's when we send our packet out to you.
Anybody on the board have anything specific that they want to talk about? So why would we pursue this tonight? We don't have everything that we need. They're not. They're just asking for tonight. They're just asking if there's any further comment either on the site plan, the changes that they've made, whether it's be the landscaping plan, the additional parking, or anything along those lines in the site right now, that they're asking us if there's something prior to the next meeting that they may be able to have to change or do that is not acceptable or that may be in question with the board right now. Okay. I mean, I will make a comment on the parking part of it. I was hoping that we could keep it down because I did like the idea of not having the parking all the way out to the street, which I think I reiterated that particular thing for myself prior. And I know that most of the rest of the site has not really changed other than for the comments that we've already gone through. So I don't know that there's any reason to go through those items, item by item, until Craig has had a chance to review the rest of the comments. Is there anything that you have, Peter?
I'm gonna hold off until
Okay.
further information is in.
I will bring up at this point in time the letters that have been given to me and who they were from, and we'll go from there. We'll move on to that. So we have a letter dated August 7th. This is the other letter from Strong Point, I'm sorry. You have a letter dated July 10th from the Stoughton Water and Sewer Department, and basically the letter references the flow test and items that were done, and that the water superintendent believes that the project, his statement is that with the proposed development of 40-plus units to be developed in the area would be zero to minimal impact on the existing water pressure, as the new developments are utilizing low-flow faucets, shower heads, and toilets, or can be recommended as order conditions. So that's the statement from our water superintendent on the water situation. I have a letter from James Dombrowski to the town planner, members of the planning board, dated June 30th, 2025, which deals with several items within the letter. And I don't know if Mr. Dombrowski's here and he wants to summarize the letter when he gets up, that's his prerogative. But the letter is also right now is part of public record, so anybody could end up reading that letter as they go forward. Mr. Guido put out a letter on this past week on August 11th, and he referenced a lot of opinions on his part of it, and he referenced 6 factors to evaluate the special permit. I've put together a letter that I put together yesterday, sent out to him and to many people that were on the email, basically thanking him for his input into the project, and I've appreciated his opinions, but a lot of it, what he is saying is opinions, or it's actually factually untrue. So that letter is also part of the record right now, and that letter can be discussed. If people want to bring up the different points of that, I can discuss those points as we go forward. And then there was also a letter from Mr. Warren Fox, who basically went through the water pressure in the town and has stated that in his belief that the water test wasn't done properly, and that that the water superintendent isn't reading it properly, as an opinion from him. So those are the letters that I presently have at this point in time, and that's where we're at. Again, I could take that time to read it, but I don't know whether it's going to be advantageous to this meeting right now to read all the different letters, unless, let's say, somebody wants to either read their particular letter or would like me to read the letters, then I will. At this point in time, I'll hold off on that unless that gets requested. The rest of the meeting would, before the board deliberates any further, I just ask if there's anybody from the town that would like to speak, and come on up.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman, there is a letter from, that was submitted on the August 20th. It's, should have been, it's, all the letters were two-sided, so you might have missed it on the back half. It's from an Alex, I'm gonna pepper it all. I'm gonna mess his name up. Peter Popoulos.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That was mixed in with another letter. I'm sorry. You're right.
And he submitted, he also submitted a letter questioning the traffic report, and then he did request that I forward that letter on, and I have. In addition, then he also submitted, so I have that.
We do have that letter. Thank you very much, Bill. I saw it was attached to the back of another letter.
Yeah. It's, I just wanted to make sure everything was for the record.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. I missed that one. Yes, sir.
Juan Fox, 624 Pleasant Street. I'm going to summarize my letter for everyone to understand, and hopefully it'll not take 5 minutes to do so. And okay, here we go. So a lot of people in the neighborhood really don't like this, and we sent a bunch of signatures to.
No, I saw that. We had 4 pages of signatures. I did see that. Yep.
Yeah, so that's in there. And the water test, I have issues with. I'll say the first part of it is that it was done at 8 o'clock at night. I wouldn't expect that would be the high water use time. More likely in the morning when everybody's taking showers. So I'm surprised they wouldn't have done it multiple times during the day to get a better picture of the water pressure profile without that construction. Also, that the hydrant used to determine what the pressure is in the neighborhood was selected to be the one that's in front of 700 Pleasant Street, which is further down the hill, approximately 26 feet, which adds another 11 pounds per square inch to the pressure, which seems strange because we're determining whether the pressure is going to get too low in the neighborhood. It also was interesting is that it started off at 58 when the test was running. When it dropped to 40 above, it stayed 58 below, which is physically impossible if it's on the same hydraulic connected on the same line. So my guess is what it was connected to the hydrant, which is connected to the other line that's going under Pleasant Street. There's 2 water lines going under Pleasant Street. And that hydrant happens to be on the other side of the street than the street that was the hydrant that was being tested. So I don't think that's correct. It's either that's the case or their gauge was faulty. So that particular part of the test should be tossed. Also, when they did the test, they did it from. It appeared to be just went from 46 until they got it to 40, and then measure the flow rate. But the intent of this was to determine what it was going to be like in the other parts of the neighborhood, not just right at that point, which is just about 144 feet away from, and that's pretty much the same grade as the project location. And so we have no knowledge about what's happening to the neighborhood up the hill. So if you can, if we go through the if we look at the topographical map from there to say the highest point by Oakland Street, which is by the tanks, you'll see there's a drop just from the height alone, which would put it at 28 pounds there right now, static at the moment. And anything that is done down from 46 to 40 brings that down, and we don't know by how much, but there's no testing done there.
Right.
So
I appreciate your opinion. Honest to God, I do. And I appreciate the going through. I have an issue where, and only because the town superintendent is the one that's been involved in this, the water superintendent, and he's the one who's creating an opinion and was involved in the test. So I guess where we're at right now is I'm not a fire engineer. And I don't have a history of fluids, and I don't want to pretend that I do. But I think the argument needs to be made with the water superintendent, either here at the next meeting or with you and the water superintendent, to dispute what his findings are.
I was expecting him to be here, yeah, because his explanation that it was okay was not related on a water use profile from the apartment, what they expect to be, and they can figure out approximately what it's going to be, what the rates are going to be. It's based on just his opinion that there's going to be low flow water use, shower heads and faucets and toilets and whatnot. And they're saying that's going to be okay. But how much is that? How much flow is that with those? We don't know. And how much during that time between zero and the flow rate they got is at that point in there, what would be the pressure there? We don't know that either. All we know is that before it ran, it was 46, and at 1,000 gallons per minute, it's at 40. That's all we know. We don't know what in between what it would
Right,
be.
and we don't know the other points that are being interpreted within your letter either, because it's an interpretation you're getting from a mathematical formula, which I know is kind of work, but I just don't know that that's actually what the numbers are, because like you said, there wasn't additional testing done.
Yeah, well, either way, that is specifically what I'm talking about on that. And for the last 20 seconds, I would say the traffic test, somebody's going to be speaking about that. I sent a picture of the traffic in front of my house, which was at 4:20 today, and was backed up to my house, and I'm 2,000 feet away from the Central Street. So just to mention that.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Lisa Lyons, Precinct 2. So I just had a question. I heard you said, I don't know if it's pronounced Guido or Guido, I heard you say.
Mr. Guido. Mr. Selectman Guido, yes.
Yes. Could you read his letter for the record and then just tell me, I thought I heard you say something was factually incorrect about it.
So I put a response letter from myself about his letter that I haven't read both of them into the record, but if you would want me to read them, and I can read the both of them if you haven't
Yeah,
read them.
if you could, because not only for myself, but for the public as well. I just feel there's so many issues here that we should at some point consider all these items. The flow, what Mr. Fox just brought up, is pertinent. And if they only did a water test at one time at 8 o'clock at night, I just want somebody to be able to confirm that. And is that how our department heads approve or disapprove of something, as opposed to the suggestion to make?
There may be a very valid reason for them doing it at 8 o'clock at night, and I'm not a fire engineer, so I don't know what that valid reason may or may not be. I do know that when you're flowing fire hydrant water, you really don't want it happening during the day, because what's going to happen is all the water going into your house and everybody else's house is going to turn brown. So by doing it at night and trying to flush it through, it won't have a less of an effect on if all of you are using water, because you're going to suck in all that brown water that's inside the pipes. That may be the reason they did it at 8 o'clock night. Other than that, I don't have a reason. I don't know what the reason for that is.
Right, so just to that point there, that's why these department heads, I'm on part of a working group, and there's missing people of the working group, and it's like you have these questions and the pertinent people aren't there to answer it. So I find it very difficult how you as members with missing information would be able to make a very significant decision like
Right,
this.
so what do we have to rely on the department heads, and we have to rely on the people that deal with that, and that's kind of what I was saying, is I'm not a fire engineer or do I deal with hydraulics and water, so I have to rely on the people that we pay in this town to be able to do that, same as I rely on Mr. Hossfall and Bill Roth and other people in the town for their expertise response. I don't, and none of our board members here are experts in everything else that we do, so we have to be able to rely on that. But I try to put as much factual information out there as I possibly can to make sure that everybody has the facts.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman. I think at minimum, there should have been a more comprehensive answer from the water department. It's pretty vague, that maybe showing how it was calculated.
Well, I think he does.
Thank you, Mr. Demuse. That's all I'm looking for complete vetting, because we see on another project in town, concerns that the taxpayer brought forth were not addressed at the beginning of the project and are now having to be addressed after the fact.
I'm fully on board with trying to, like I said earlier, have him come here if he can be at the meeting, or however we need to ask those questions, or that the discussion happens between you and him at that time. I'm open to that. I've got no problem with that. I say the only thing I have is the information from the flow test and from the information that the water superintendent did. I don't know whether you've read his letter, but I can read his letter also.
Yeah, I'm just humbly, as the chair of the committee, asking for the members of the committee to help us as residents fully vet these projects at the forefront.
Ma'am, we do take a lot of time to deal with this.
Oh,
so
I know you
so,
do, and I'm just
I'm
looking.
going to read the letters just for everybody's edification so that they're out there, and then we'll move on from there, okay? So I have a letter from Keith Nastasio, the water superintendent, to the planning board, water pressure Pleasant Street. This memo was in reference to the existing water pressure at 500 to 700 block area of Pleasant Street in Stoughton, Mass. Currently, there are 2 water distribution mains on Pleasant Street, a 16-inch ductile iron and an 8-inch cast iron that both share services and hydrant protection. Existing pressure from the recent flow test reported dated June 18, 2025 indicates 58 psi near 700 Pleasant Street, and the AWWA, American Water Works Association, doesn't specify an ideal water pressure for homes, but generally a water pressure between 40 and 80 psi, pounds per square inch, is considered normal and acceptable for most residential plumbing systems. With a proposed development of 40-plus units to be developed in the area, would have zero to minimal impact on the existing water pressure, as new developments are utilizing low-flow faucets, shower heads, and toilets, or can be recommended as an order of conditions. To have a significant drop in pressure would be from the results of a water main break or a fire flow from a hydrant for emergency services running along that period of time. Please let me know if you have any additional information that's needed. He's putting the question out there. We'll either ask him to rest at the next meeting or to try to address some of the concerns that have been brought up before this. Okay? I have a letter from Warren Fox. He's read his. Okay. A letter from Mr. Guido is here. No, I didn't. Where? I got it. Chair and members of the Stoughton Planning Board, I was asked by an abutter to the subject property or subject project to provide my views on the project. Please consider this letter as part of my public comment. I have looked at 576 Pleasant Street project, and my overriding impression is that it is a large apartment building masquerading as a mixed-use project. The project design was apparently chosen to fit the zoning bylaw, the Stoughton zoning bylaw ZBL mixed use definition to be considered for a special permit. I will discuss the special permit issues below and indicate here and below that not only does the project not appear to meet the special permit conditions standards, but does not satisfy the purpose and intent of our overall ZBL defined in the purpose of our ZBL. Note in 2 paragraphs below, the state zoning law indicates that special permits may be issued after consideration of many factors. while the town of Stoughton ZBL shall be granted unless the adverse effects are greater than the benefits to the town or neighborhood. It appears clear that there is not sufficient benefit to the neighborhood or town to require the approval of this special permit. The State Zoning Act is Chapter 40A and Section 9 regulates special permits. A lead sentence, special permits may be issued only for uses which are in harmony with the general purpose and intent of the ordinance or bylaw and shall be subject to general provisions set forth in. And such permits may also impose conditions, safeguards, limitations, and time use. My emphasis added. Note, two things in the sentence. It states that special permits may be issued, not shall be issued, which means the special permit granting authority has discretion as the projects may be in harmony with the general purpose and intent of the ordinance or bylaw. And two, the phrase being in harmony with the general purpose and intent even allows this project at 576 Pleasant Street to be judged in relation to its specific location and related conditions and not judged solely on its basis of earlier project decisions. The Stoughton ZBL at Section 10.5.2 lists criteria used to evaluate the project special permit request, which shall be granted by the special permit granting authority. Unless otherwise specified herein, only upon its written determination that the adverse effects of the proposed use will not outweigh the beneficial impacts of the town or the neighborhood, in view of the particular characteristics of the site and the proposal in relation to that site. In addition to any specific factors that may be set forth in this bylaw, the determination shall include consideration of each of the following: social, economic, or community needs which are served by the proposal. Number 2, traffic flow and safety, including parking and loading. Number 3, adequacy of utilities and other public services. Number 4, neighborhood character and social structures. Number 5, impacts of the natural environment. And number 6, potential fiscal impact, including impact to town services, tax base, and employment, taking into account my proposed mitigation. My consideration of the 6 factors to be evaluated for special permit noted above follows. Number 1, social, economic, or community needs which are served by the proposal. He states, we have projects underway in Atkinson Avenue, 760 Washington Street, and large, low, moderate income housing project approved in Canton Street awaiting state funding, and other projects that the town can provide. In addition, we have changed zoning to include up to 2,767 units in the downtown, which is almost 1,000 units more than the state number of 1,761 required under MBTA's community's downtown requirement. Our high-density zoning primarily is in the downtown. Given our position in this factor, there appears to be no apparent overriding benefit to overcome the adverse effect in neighborhood of our out-of-character large apartment, which increase vehicular access and egress in the congested road. Number 2, traffic flow and safety, including parking and loading. There will be a traffic study presented. There is no indication that this project will improve the traffic flow and safety in the neighborhood. There will be increase in vehicular traffic on congested road near the traffic light. Adequacy of utilities and other public services. We know there is a water pressure issue that must be addressed by the developer for this project and addressed by the town for this more general area. Again, there appears to be no apparent overriding benefit to override the adverse effect to the neighborhood and the town. Neighborhood character and social structures. The character of the neighborhood is of single-family homes, an elementary school, and very busy, often congested intersection. This project provides no neighborhood benefit, nor does there appear to be a townwide benefit. The apartments are not in character with the neighborhood. There are no commercial shopping nearby. Our high-density residential areas are recently rezoned downtown with added low-income housing approved on Canton Street. Impacts on the natural environment. The project will build or pave about 90% of the 1.2-acre parcel that is currently about 80% open land. This certainly represents an environmental degradation of the neighborhood and contributes to the degradation in the town. Potential fiscal impact, including impact on town services, tax base, and employment, taking account into any proposed mitigation. Employment in a 1,220 square foot retail space is not substantial. The tax base will increase some predictable amount. I don't know if we were offsetting the information of the cost of police, fire, education, health emergency services, and recreational needs, to name some of the town services. This 43-unit apartment is larger than many other apartments, certainly larger than many subdivisions, and may require more services than compatible in a single-family units. The purposes of our zoning in Stoughton is stated as follows directly from the zoning bylaw. Section 1.0, Purpose and Authority. 1.1, Purpose. These regulations are enacted to promote the general welfare of the town, to protect the health and safety regulation of its inhabitants, to encourage the most appropriate use of land throughout the town, to preserve the cultural, historical, and agricultural heritage of the community, to increase the amenities of the town, and to reduce the hazard from fire by regulating the location and use of buildings in the area of open space around them. All this is authorized by, not limited to, the provisions of the Zoning Act GL 40A as amended in Section 2A of the 1975 Mass Acts 808. In summary, the project does not appear to meet the criteria for special permit, nor does it meet the overall purpose of the zoning bylaw. I ask the planning board, which must have supermajority vote of approval because of the importance of the decision, deny the special permit for the project. Sincerely, Louis Guido, 1261 West Street. In response to Mr. Guido's letter, I felt a need to make some corrections and or clarifications, so I did end up writing a letter to Selectman Guido. As chairman of the planning board, I welcome every citizen's opinion on every project that is brought before us. In that spirit, your opinion is well taken. And I appreciate your input. However, when it comes to a selectman stating items that are not factually true, incorrect, and or misleading, I must set the record straight. The Canton Street project was negotiated and approved by your board. It is not a project we as the town planning board believe is needed or warranted in this town. The statement that the town's new Downingtown zoning will result in 2,767 units, new units, is untrue. This is a calculated number based on a spreadsheet the state required to be filled out. To build this many units in the downtown would require that every building, including the town hall, the post office, be demolished, lots combined, and then the entire downtown built out to capacity. Whereas that cannot happen without the town taking over the center by eminent domain, using that number as a potential build for the town is very misleading, and you as a selectman for the town should know better. Item number 2, the traffic report is complete and is available for your review. We will also have traffic consultants review it for its accuracy. Until that is complete, I will hold off on comment. However, it is a document that you should review, and there are some interesting items that were brought to light as part of this project. Item number 3, we have a letter concerning the water supply from Keith Nastasha, our town water superintendent. He makes the following statement in his letter. With the proposed development of 40-plus units to be developed in the area, would have zero to minimal impact on the existing water pressure, as the new developments are utilizing low-flow faucets, shower heads, and toilets, or can be recommended as an order of conditions. Items number 4 and 5. This is your opinion only. This and the purview of the board says, and this is the purview of the board to review and make determination. The zoning in this area is general business. A zoning change to residential was proposed to the town several years ago and was rejected. Therefore, it is evident that this town does not want this area to remain natural or unbuilt state. The town has requested that this zoning, which would allow many different types of businesses and mixed-use buildings to be located here. So that was my response to Mr. Guido's letter.
In 6 exactly,
I'm sorry, I didn't finalize. Okay, there was 2 more items. Item number 6, the increase in taxes will be substantial from this property, from what it presently is. The rest of your statement is your opinion and should be left to the planning board to collect factual information and recommendations from separate town heads. Mr. Guido, this board takes its responsibility to its town very seriously, and in that vein, we will continue to follow our zoning code and code of ethics in making our decisions. It is this board's purview to review this project like every other project before us in order to make a comprehensive and informed decision and not be directed to do anything by our continued due diligence in making the decision. You're more than welcome to attend any of our meetings and speak if you want to. Daniel Kelly, Planning Board Chair. Thank you.
Thank you for reading that into the record. So I would just say, I heard your concern earlier about why they probably did the water flow testing at 8, but if we're talking about a potential negative effect of that water flow after the project is done, I think the mitigating of doing the multiple tests in the long run is,
We can ask the board, we can ask the water superintendent either to continue doing it or to explain why he wouldn't continue doing it, and we can get that information. That will be something we go forward with.
okay, thank you for your time.
You're very welcome. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, come on up.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, ma'am, I didn't really, that's my fault, I'm very sorry.
Don't worry about it.
I just saw the top of your head, and that's all I could see.
I need to Dawn Dino.
I'm going to press.
Sorry. Hi, my name is Dawn Dino. I live at 1308 West Street. I am from Precinct 4, our town representative. And my question on that project has to do with the EPA. I understand most of that area is a lot of wetlands, and the impact that it would have on that did you have I had a concern if the EPA was involved to protect some of the natural animals and maybe the wildlife, the flora and the fauna that's in that area. And if this project was to go through, about the debris and maybe the trash that would litter in that area.
So the EPA wouldn't have any environment, unless there's an environmental impact due to contaminants on the site. Normally, the EPA isn't involved in a project
Okay.
like this. It would be more if we had wetlands or something, we'd have conservation, but there isn't
Conservation.
wetlands in that area either. As far as the trash and other stuff going forward with the project, that would be part of the O&M and the operation of the site, which would be part of what would be presented and/or approved by us or disapproved by us as we go forward.
Okay, I was curious. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Yes, Mr. Hanson.
My apologies from coming in late. But Elliot Hanson, 576 Pleasant Street, so that'll sound vaguely familiar. I think two things that haven't been addressed is the traffic on Pine Street comes right out on Pleasant Street, and there's a huge amount of traffic on that street also. So I wonder if the traffic studies have.
It did take into account that intersection.
I'm sorry?
The traffic study did take into account that intersection.
Okay. And just the other one is a little bit more philosophical, if you will. It's a single-family residential area, with rare exceptions coming much closer to downtown and a few apartment buildings there. But it really is an affront to the community to take a 43-unit apartment and plunk it right in the middle of residential.
I understand, Mr. Hanson, and I've sat on this board for over 10 years to try to get different things going with that area, and not this particular lot, but that general area. And one of the things we did request was, can we change this to a residential zoning so that projects that this large and stuff couldn't come up? And that was rejected by the town.
By town meeting.
That town meeting. So if those are the types of things the town meeting is rejecting, they want general business in this area. So to say that the town doesn't want general business, then why would we be saying that now? It's a general business zone. It's not a residential zone.
Well, I believe the general business was established for the back 12 acres or so.
But this particular lot is general business. It's a general business zone.
Be that as it may, there's not a lot of business there.
But it is a general
And
business.
at one time, I had a
From a
business
planning standpoint of view, we have to take what the town has requested. The town has requested that to be a general business zone. We can't now state that, well, no, it's a residential zone. No more than I can take a residential zone and say, no, it's an industrial zone. The town stated they want a general business zone in that area.
I believe this apartment building, it just destroys the character of the neighborhood.
Thank you for your opinion.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Marina Ryans, 72 Copperwood.
Okay.
I am seriously concerned with this project that is going to bring a lot of chaos in the neighborhood.
A lot of what, ma'am?
This project is going to bring a lot of chaos for the town, for the residents. Don't forget that there are 3 schools in close proximity in that area. So the Doe School is the first school, and there are no alternative, school streets. All streets are dead end, and imagine all the school busing in the morning and the traffic going towards Pleasant Street to routes 24 and 93. I'm telling you, I go that road and I can't get through today. So imagine when the buses start, it will be absolutely impossible to get through in a fair amount of time. It's going to just be absolutely chaotic, and not to mention unsafe. And I'm not only talking in the morning, I'm talking all day long. The buses from school to school, and then the rush hour starts. It's going to be each way traffic. Parents coming home, picking up their kids, and I'm only thinking that it's going to be accidents, that it's going to be, chaos, that it's going to be anger, and it's just a lot of accidents. I don't see how this project is suitable for Stoughton. Stoughton is a small town, and I believe this project should not go through.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ma'am?
Yep.
Yes, I was at the last meeting.
Could you say your name and address, please?
You just turned up.
Mary O'Donnell, 511 Pleasant Street. I was at the last meeting, and I believe they were going to do a traffic study during the school year to see how much congestion is on Pleasant Street, Central Street, Pine Street, and 138. So I would like to have that traffic study done when the kids are in school, so they can look at safety issues and accidents. It's like
The traffic report has a whole chart in there of all the accidents and historical accidents for that whole area. That's part of the traffic study when it was done. If you read through the traffic study, it actually gives you a history of accidents at every intersection in that area and on that road, and the types of accidents that were there. So that's in the report already.
Can you provide me a copy of
At
it?
the planning board, Mr. Roth can give you a full copy of it, give you to by email.
Could
It's
I have a
public
copy
notice.
of Selectman Guido's?
You sure can. It's a public fact. I can give you that if you'd like to have that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anything that is, Mr. Chairman, anything that's submitted as part of the public record, I can email you.
Easy if you.
I can email it. If I need to do photocopies, there is a charge for photocopies.
Okay.
So I prefer to just email it to
I'd like
anyone
to
who
have
wants
a
it.
photocopy.
I will be putting up, the plans are up on the website. I will also put up the traffic report. And sitting here, I'm going to scan in all the comment letters in one document, and I will put those up on the website. It will be probably mid next week because I'm out of the office on Monday. So it would be midweek. I will have all of that up on the website.
Okay, and when did they do this traffic study? June 18th, was it?
I'd have to look at the report to see what the date was. I'm not sure.
Hi, isn't it?
Is it July?
It's dated July 2025.
2020.
That's when the report was prepared.
Okay, because that's when the schools are out. So,
I agree. I'm just, the report, traffic study does, it does counts, but the counts are normally based on historical data also. But you'd have to read the report. So that's your best bet, is actually read the report, and you'll be able to get a better handle.
can we have another vote on this? Like you said, the town meeting, they wanted business in the area, more business?
That's a whole different issue. You have to bring that up before as a town warrant. You have to get it on the town meeting warrant and get it from them. But that, like I say, that was done years ago, and it was a big lift to be able to get that done, and it was rejected by town meeting at that point in time.
Okay, because I think there should be another vote of from the neighbors in the area.
But here's the thing, ma'am, is that right now, because of the way zoning code works, even if you change that zoning in the area, the present owner can continue using it as a general business zone. You can't take that away from him.
It would be grandfather.
It's a grandfathered zone.
Okay,
Okay?
thank you.
You're very welcome. Yes, I'll get you. It does.
Hi, Elizabeth Doyle from 455 Pleasant Street. And kind of in the same line as the things other people have been commenting on, I live very close to that traffic light, and I can tell you, regardless of what the traffic study is showing, it takes me several lights to get out in the morning if I need to turn towards the traffic light. It takes me several lights waiting to get home at night if I have to come from the Pine Street side of that intersection instead. And myself and several of my neighbors have to back either in or out of our driveway, and that's already not very safe on that road. There's enough traffic coming that, honestly, being able to turn around in our driveways would make that safer, but that's not how our houses are set up. So I'd like to make sure that the traffic studies have been done, both considering the morning traffic and the evening traffic, because both are definitely an impact. With the low flow water kind of things that are being suggested as a possible mitigation for the water pressure issues, I know that everybody that I know who lives in an apartment, who lives anywhere, who has their low flow water head, and they're not getting water pressure, they're just going to switch that right out. So I would request that we look at that both with if people are using low flow water appliances and if they're not, and kind of see what that differential is, potentially basing it off the middle ground rather than off of the best case scenario. I think doing it off the best case scenario leaves us who are currently living there in a place where we may not be getting even the minimal water pressure that we have right now. I know my house, the water takes a second. When I turn on the faucet, it's already not coming out immediately like it would if we had good water pressure. And the neighbors next to me have additional pumps inside their houses to get their water to the second floor. I just only have first floor water. So I know in that area, the water pressure is already an issue. And so I echo the request to have the person who can kind of have that conversation with Juan Fox and others to attend the next meeting so that that can be a public discussion. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening. Karen Powers, Precinct 4, 1332 Bay Road. Thank you for having this meeting today and for hearing everyone in the public and all of their concerns on this. I know right now the schools are at max capacity. And I know that they are redistricting right now for the buses for school children. So while they redistrict for this new South School, and just they would have had to redistrict anyway, now with, I believe, 43 new units. So I don't know how many families that will be, how many people, but I assume there will be a certain amount of children that will be associated with this unit. There's also one on Atkinson Road, I believe, sir. That will be another unit with additional students and children, additional busing needed. And then there's something going on in the downtown, I think what they used to call the crater. Don't know the actual address, but more units there, more students, more families. I love families in the town, but our schools are really overtaxed. I mean, in the cost of the school budget is just increasing more and more. And the busing, right now I know that families pay for some busing, but I can promise you, as someone in the know, it doesn't even come close to paying for what is in the budget. It's just an offset. It doesn't actually pay for the buses that are needed for the students. So this is going to tax the town considerably for the schools, for the buses, for these children that are going into these multiple units that are coming into Stoughton. I understand you're in sort of a rock and a hard place because I think you said 10 years ago there was an opportunity to make this residential, and the residents and the town chose to have it general purpose. I just hope, and I know that you guys will weigh the benefits against the detriments, certainly with the traffic. I don't know about the water pressure. Residents are saying that there's an issue. Perhaps the town engineer has not found an issue, but I know 100% there's going to be an issue with students overcrowding and with buses. That is a guarantee, not just with this 43 unit, but with all of these other places that are coming in. And I would ask that maybe we could have the superintendent be able to give his opinion on what he believes will be the rather large impact of this influx.
So, I thank you very much for your opinion. I think, just as a quick comment, I remember early on in the discussion of this project that the applicant had made a statement about, because he does have several other apartment buildings in town, and the types of units that he has, about the amount of kids or children that he expects based upon his historical data and what he's already put into that. So I let him talk to that because I think he would actually know more than the superintendent of schools, because he's not going to know how many kids are normally in the units. So I'll let him address that. But thank you very much for your opinion. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, and I do hope that you invite the superintendent anyway, because I think that the impact of our schools, which is our largest budget in town, could be quite significant with all of these new apartments. Thank you, sir.
All the department heads are notified about our meetings, so they're open to be able to come to any of our meetings, and I do welcome them, any of them. So
If they know about
yeah,
it, sure.
no, they do know about them because
Does
they're
he know
notified about them. Yes,
Oh,
all the department
interesting.
heads are notified of
Yeah,
them. Yes.
I'll make sure that he knows. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody else from the town? Yes, sir.
Good evening, everyone.
Listen, my name is Ken Rubin. I'm from 22 Bento, and I'm representing Thomas Levin from 42 Bento as well, who's unable to be here, unfortunately. I'm just hoping that everyone, and it sounds like some people are, and they're listening to the concerns of the residents in the area. We all live in the homes, Pleasant Street, Bento Street, Low Ave, and all the surrounding streets. We do have many issues in the area. I'll just be real quick because I'm just emphasizing as additional residents the same concerns, serious traffic concerns. We can't get in and out of the street. Many times during the day, and especially when the school buses start in and just traffic time and that light, you can sit there, cycle. I can see in my house and I can't get to it half the time. Let's see, traffic, and sometimes it can be backed up at least a quarter mile or more from the light. Water pressure can be dismal at best. If I hit 40, I'm lucky. I don't even hit 40 half the time. Let's see here. And as far as the property, I agree with Mr. Hanson. It does destroy the area. I understand it was rezoned to the dual usage, but maybe there's another area that can be looked at down the street. So maybe some houses or something. I don't want to derail it, but as far as that goes, yes, there's a lot of trees coming down, so that's going to affect the water table in the area. There's going to be, we already have trouble with animals and stuff. The deer come out and they're eating our bushes and shrubs, and there's all different animals, and they're always coming across the street getting hit in 139. So they're going to be coming, where they're going to go? They'll be coming our way. Just fast forward, again, I'm just hoping you'll listen to our concerns and that don't think this is appropriate, and to have businesses mixed in with our residential homes it's not the right place, and it's just too much going on, and the tax burden on the town, ambulances, fire engines, and everything else will have to be back and forth. It's already going on. I would just love someone to sit and watch 139 for a couple hours and see all the entertainment of all the noise and everything taking place. I hope I'm covering everything. I know there's probably a lot I'm missing, but I do thank everyone for listening to us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anybody else from the town that would like to speak at this time? Yes, sir.
Good evening. Can you hear me? Okay,
Yes, sir.
great. Marty Liebman, 133 Low Avenue. I would just like to reiterate and support two suggestions that were made tonight, and I hope the planning board can take action on these two suggestions. One is that the water test, even though the superintendent will be here hopefully at the next meeting, I think what's really appropriate is that we just have a more thorough test in terms of how many, the intervals of time throughout the day. And I think that would be prudent to do that even before the superintendent comes, so we can really understand the real impact. So that's suggestion number one. And suggestion number two is, it sounds like a really smart idea to have the traffic study be done during school, when school is in session. So if it wasn't done when it was in session, even with the historical data, I think it would be prudent to do that study when the school is in session. And lastly, just want to echo the appropriateness of a project like this in a neighborhood that that we all live in. And yes, I understand that it's its own general business, and there was an opportunity to change that 10 years ago. Things rapidly change in our world today, and I think we should really take a good hard look at what we're doing today and how it will impact us tomorrow. Regardless of the legal aspects of zoning, I think the planning board still has the ability to approve or disapprove this project. And really, this project is not really general business. It's a 43-unit building under the guise of general business with 1,200 square feet.
Sir, I'm going to ask,
retail space.
told several other people, that's an opinion. It's not an opinion of fact. Okay?
That is my opinion.
Right, that's an
Yeah.
opinion. That's okay.
I'm here as a taxpayer and a resident, and everything I say is my opinion.
Right. We have to follow what's in the code. That's all.
Absolutely.
Okay,
So, and I'll close by stating that it is all my opinion for the record. So,
thank you.
I'm not sitting here stating that this is fact. This is my opinion, and I'm just voicing it as a taxpayer. So, in closing, I would ask that the planning board, take into account everything that has been shared. And for the record, tonight, it was my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody else from the town that would like to be able to speak? Yes, sir.
Good evening. I'm Jason Dino, 1308 West Street, District 4. My question is this. Growing up in town, we all learn shortcuts to get from point A to point B. Now you're going to add this 43-unit development. At what point does the town and or the builder take into consideration that Low Ave cuts you to Pine Street, which brings you to 138? During school session, if you can't get through that traffic light, what prevents somebody from living in that location to go down Low Ave and cut through the school? Because that road that takes you into Golden Road is blocked off. So now that funnels everybody through the school. Now, during school, dropping kids off with all the buses, now you have a parent who's running late, needs to get to work, cuts through the school, and hits a kid. How do you prevent, how are you guys going to prevent?
We can't prevent that now. We can't prevent it in the future. We can't prevent people from doing things that are not the right way of going through town. Okay, that's something that we as a planning board, we can't prevent that. I can't prevent it now, nor could I prevent it in
20 years ago.
I'm not a police officer.
I get that.
So you'd have to have a police officer stand there to prevent that.
So now who pays that detail to make sure that if the builder, does that become an expense to
I said, there's not, that would be outside of the planning board's purview. That's a directional thing as far as traffic in the town. You have to bring that before the Board of Selectmen.
Excellent. Thank you. Appreciate your time.
Thank you. Would anybody else in the town like to speak? No. Hearing none. Does anybody else on the board have any comments since we've been through this at this point? No? Okay. Does the applicant have anything else that they'd like to say at this time? Oh, Peter, you have something? I'm sorry.
I would like to say, I actually, while they're getting seated, a couple of questions that came up is, I'd like to know, what is the direction of the water flow coming to that area? Is it coming from the water tower?
From the water tower down.
From the tower down, okay. And is it, is that both the 16 and the 8-inch supply?
Yes, correct. Yes, both.
Okay. And then just to clarification, Juan Fox had mentioned about traffic earlier. I happened to take a ride on there today at 4:20, and what happened was it took me from approximately the house 462, it took me just about 5 minutes to make it to the center lights at Central and Pleasant Street. And what I also noticed was several cars and vans weren't going to wait. They turned around and went another way. So,
again, that's a police issue, and
Right,
or
but
yeah, and or a select board. Right, we're not into that issue. So, anybody else have any comments? Gentlemen, go ahead.
I have a question. Are there any comments on the site plan? We discussed.
I have made the comments I believe we've kind of went through. I think the site plan is
It's good as it is.
at this point in time, as far as, like I said, I believe we should not have the additional spaces, but that's your opinion to be able to go forward with it in that direction.
Right?
Excuse me?
You mean the parking?
I'm talking about the parking, yes.
How about like lights, buffering, trees? Any comments on the site plan, or is it good how it is?
I'm good. I don't, well, Craig has any additional comment until he finalizes his review. I think we're good until that
Craig
happens.
and I will review.
Craig's done
I
the
meant
review.
more planning, not like technical. I meant like
okay.
buffering, lighting, trees, anything along those lines as far as planning goes. Because we just keep deciding, we're paying, traffic studies, water tests.
The issue, like I said, the issue that I see is the buffer zone along the residential side of that, which we've talked about, the left-hand side.
So is there a recommendation? Would you guys like me to put something there
Not
differently?
put parking there. I already have my recommendation. Do you have a photo of that site that we could put up? Did we have something?
That's another thing I want to touch on. Everyone's talking about trees and disrupting. I think there's confusion about what site we're talking about. If we could pull it up on Google, there are no trees on the site. There's all containers and a house and a garage. So it is mixed use now.
Do we have a GPS on that site?
I think the church land in the back is what everyone's confusing. That's the church in the back that's coming.
While he's looking that up, I have a question. You have quite a few apartment complexes you built in town. Are they more one-bedroom units, two-bedroom units, and the percentage of children that was brought up?
Absolutely. Yeah, good question. I wanted to touch on that. So almost every building we have is majority one bedrooms with kind of two bedrooms in the corners. So you have like two walls to use for windows and things like that. As far as kids go, I want to say I want to touch on a couple of things. As far as like real estate taxes and talking about that, I pay hundreds upon hundreds of thousands of dollars on real estate taxes in the town with these buildings. I probably have 4 kids in all of my buildings that go to the school system. The average home in Stoughton pays around $6,000, $7,000 in real estate taxes. And the average per student allocated is about, I think, $18,000 or so. I don't know any houses that actually pay $18,000 in real estate tax. So that burden's put on projects like this specifically, where what you're gaining in income far outweighs what you're paying per child in schools. And like I said, throughout all of our units, maybe 4 kids, maybe.
Throughout all of them combined, just 4 children.
Yeah, because
they are mostly single bedroom.
It's usually you get like 1 and 2, but you'll get like what I see a lot lately and since COVID is I see a lot of couples grabbing 2 bedrooms, so they'll use a second as an office. That's what we see a lot of. But I mean, it's all public record. You can look up the addresses and the kids in there. And we actually had the police in the first couple of meetings, the fire. They actually commended us on how we run our buildings and how there's no issues, no problems. That's Best thing.
So if you could point out the site, and he's got it up on the thing. Oh, you had it up
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can kind of see the site's already pretty beat up.
While he's bringing that up, I actually have a question. You did the building on Atkinson, correct?
Currently, yes.
And what type of business is going into that location?
We don't have that done yet. Just like we don't have the residential tenants done yet. I have no idea. Hopefully somebody who pays a lot.
No, I mean, at some point you have to, let's just throw a pizza shop, for example. Okay. You would have to do some type of build out for that with that in mind.
Sometimes, but typically the tenant will do the build out. And since they're on the first floor, the build out's relatively easy as far as like utilities. They're all underground. You saw, cut, and connect. It's not a huge undertaking. But I wouldn't allow a pizza place in there or a food use, period. It would be more along the lines of, flower shops, things, low use stuff.
Okay. Here you go.
Right. Yeah, so you can see that's it where that house is. Those trees do not belong to the property on the right. That's a separate property as well.
Can you pan down this way, Bill? Show the back. So the property line ends like right here. So basically, you got a few scrubby trees in this location.
Eric, can you go on the other side?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
See?
So the property line ends about right here. You got a couple of scrubby trees in this location. The rest of it is open, and this cluster, not part of the project. That's a separate parcel. So there are very few trees that are coming out of this property.
And I'd also like to point out, as far as the area and the uses, that's a cleaning service. That's a retail use right there. The next door down is a dental office as well. So that's retail on the road.
In this site, correct me if I'm wrong, Anthony, but the back portion of the site where this garage is has largely been used almost like a landscaping yard.
It's all rentals. It's containers. There's guys renting. I think there's like a guy with a plumbing supply thing. He puts stuff in there. It's a mixture of all types of uses. So it's currently being used as a mixed use. And then the residential up front, of course. And I think Mr. Hanson actually owned all that land back there and sold it. So it's, I think he's still in that house. I think he's still in that house right there.
And just one additional comment that I'd like to make, and Mr. Kelly, you had mentioned this. I've actually been involved in this particular piece of property since 2014. It's actually undergone 2 proposed zoning changes before town meeting in that time, both of which were shot down.
Okay, any other comments? I'm assuming you're going to request a continuance at this point in time?
Yes, please.
Can I have a motion to accept this continuance?
So made.
The date certain.
Oh, what would the date certain be, Mr. Roth?
Yeah, I'll on that.
They would have to request to September 11th.
You want September 11th, or you want the following meeting?
Should be the 25th.
14 days later. 25th. So that's what, the 25th? Hang on. Let me double check. It would be the 25th.
All right, just, did it block the 25th?
Yeah, can we make it for, so can we have a motion to accept this?
Well, be here the 25th, so.
You won't be here the 25th, and Mr. Terry has been out.
And yeah, Mr. Terry's going to have to do a Mullins rule. He's going to have to review the tape and do that.
So that would leave us, that would only leave us with 4 members on the 25th.
October, go to the next, what's the next? In the August, that's coming up.
October.
9.
That would be October 9th.
I'm here.
Motion to continue.
Craig will be dealing with that meeting.
Oh, okay.
He's not voting. He can heal on Zoom.
I might be able to log in. So
Are you gonna limp in? You'll have crutches. You'll be okay.
So we can have a motion to accept till October 9th.
So made.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you all for your time.
That's, and
Item number 3, a continued public hearing will be held to petition of the applicant. The Town of Stoughton Development Services Department requests site plan review under section 10.6 to renovate the town hall parking lot create 4 pocket parks, provide new landscaping and other site improvements. The property is located at 10 Pearl Street. Assessors map 54, lots 217 and 221. Stoughton Center District Core and Flex Zones continued from July 17th.
What?
Mr. Roth, you're up.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to be presenting this project. And with us online is our GPI, our landscape architect, who's been dealing with the project. Since the last meeting, we've refined the layout plan.
Please, leave. If you're not part of it, you don't want to listen, then leave.
Okay. Since the last meeting, we've refined the plan set. We did get the...
Excuse me?
I apologize. Someone had lost the voice, so I just wanted.
Okay, we'll put that in lost and found.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Yep. Thank you.
We've gotten the additional survey data, especially our concern and the neighbor's concern was with his wall. Craig can speak to it. We've reviewed it. We feel that that we're keeping the line where it is, and actually by where the dumpster is going to be going, we're actually that's where the line skews a little bit into our landscaped area. It's not really his wall area. So we're going to kind of pull that back a little. That's been pulled back a little bit. And then I can just, as you know, the layout, this is to look at adding parking. We're, going through, and I'm going to reiterate some of this thing to improve the public's access to this building, that and these pocket parks to demonstrate, is what we're looking at doing. So, currently, we have the parallel parking that goes around a radius that literally no one can use because you can't park a car in those radiuses. This increases public parking. It increases the number of handicap spaces. It provides better ADA access from Pearl Street and from the intersection here. We are also removing the 2 driveways and consolidating them into one, where there's currently, a significant traffic, people, employees exiting, trying to exit and head back up, and then people exiting out of Town Hall and heading down towards the tracks. So that, we've limited that, and the overall appearance, I will get to the landscape plan. We've designed a landscape plan that is attractive yet maintainable for our forces. So along the edge, not a lot of plant material in between the parking and the street, more of street trees, canopy. We've highlighted detailed landscaping around the plaza area to enhance where the seating is and all the other pocket parks. So you have the pocket park along Pearl. You have the corner.
Hold on a second. Ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am.
Lisa,
Please.
can you guys take it out in the hall?
Thank you. That goes in this town. That's this hall. That goes up to the ceiling.
So in addition, one of the discussion topic items we have finalized, and it's within the plan set, the wall that we're removing that's currently there, we're going to be reusing some of those stones and in the contract to looking at matching. So that wall which has been there for extremely a long time based on old historic photographs. So the new wall that will be near this area as you're looking at the side of Town Hall to the left of the stairwell, that this wall, which is, I will zoom in. this wall right here will be of the same material that the current wall is. So it will blend in.
You have elevations of that wall?
Huh?
You have elevations of that area?
I'm looking for it. You're approximate.
An elevation of the building and the wall? No, I have those perspective drawings from the presentation, if you would like those.
But that didn't address everything in those, because I thought that's what we looked at the last time.
Yeah.
They did. So it didn't address with that wall and the materials that were going in that area.
Yeah.
In fact, it actually said stuff that we didn't want in those perspectives.
Correct. Rick, what plan sheet is the wall detail with the specs? Oh, here it is. Right there. Right there. Here. So here's the perspective drawing of the wall, or the cross section with the stairwell. So and then what it would look like with the stairwell coming down. This is to the edge of the building here, and back down to grade. So
You're actually adding, what, 3, 4 more steps there?
Yeah.
But what are you doing? So the wall, the cheek wall on this wall.
there it is. This is the wall.
That's how it looks from Porter Street.
This is what it would look like from Porter Street.
And the cheek walls will be the same material.
Yeah.
Yes.
What about that wall to the left, the other small retaining wall?
That was the view he showed earlier. Just pan back up. That's that view.
That's that view right there.
Yeah. This is looking from the building that's been removed. This is would be looking up.
So has that whole parking area been brought down too as well? Okay.
Yes.
That's why you're adding 2 or 3 more steps.
Correct.
Correct.
The grade needs to start sloping a little bit more towards the intersection.
Right.
And then more of a gradual slope as you get down back to the new driveway location. So that's why when you look at the side of the building, that wall isn't really that substantial what you see above grade. You know, it's only coming up a couple of feet. It gets taller as you go down along the slope, but it's not very tall at all.
Now, is the back drive that comes along the building, is that actually coming up to me?
Little bit.
Okay.
Yes.
So you're blending them together.
Yeah, we need to come up a little bit over there and come down on the other side. And believe it or not, it all balances out. Yeah. And it's about a 5% slope, which is a really manageable grade for parking cars and for driveway slopes.
So if you look where the generator, the AC units are in the back, right around there, that is a known point we can't mess with. It gently comes up a little bit right there, up to the intersection, and then the other comes down.
5% isn't much more than a handicap ramp.
Yeah, it's really not a steep slope at all.
No.
It's typically the maximum that we try to hold within a parking lot. You can go a little steeper than that, but when you do that, people's doors tend to swing away from them if they're parked on the side. So that's generally where we...
Right, because across from that, you have the cars parked.
Yeah.
So you open up your door, it's going to...
But it's a completely doable slope, and that's one of the standards that we hold. So,
Bill, you had mentioned about additional handicap parking, but I just see 2 handicap spots out front.
Plus we've got a handicap in the rear. And if you know now, the current handicap space is something that DPW must have just striped. It's in the middle of the drive aisle back there, and it has handicapped on it. So we're actually creating, I'll go to the existing conditions plan.
Sorry, Bert.
And I will zoom in.
Yeah. Because I received comments from a few people.
Right.
About the lack of handicap parking.
Correct. And the handicap parking isn't really, it's handicapped over here, but it's furthest from the building. It's from the entrance. Our design brings the handicap to the handicap entrance and right up to the front.
Right.
In addition, if you notice, this is our drive aisle, and it's a 2-lane drive aisle. It's only 1 lane,
when someone parks there.
When somebody parks a handicap spot right here. This is in the back.
Yeah.
And so what this design does, what this does, currently the handicap spaces are right over here.
Correct.
And now, and you have to walk in the drive aisle behind every car, then get onto the sidewalk, and then get to the ramp over here. So the handicap spaces, 2 of them that'll be properly with proper widths, proper center island right here, with the drop down of the sidewalk that accesses the handicap ramp. It's the most convenient, accessible route. It is right in front of the things. And in addition, if you notice, Peter, in the back, right here,
Right.
there'd be a full handicap and, the availability for somebody for the back door. If there's a handicap, we can make provisions to come straight in that back door and then up the.
What happens is, like I said, I received a couple of comments from people that said there's not enough handicap parking. First of all, that one that you said was a quasi-handicap spot out back, nobody knows about it. I mean, it's not really, when you come to a building, you expect the handicap spots to be up front, not out back. Now, if there's an employee or a member of a board that needs a handicap spot, they typically take out the one that's out front. Now, if you have anybody else coming to a meeting, they'll take up the second one, and that's it for handicap spots.
Yeah, and because the rear one really isn't truly a handicap spot, so now the rear one will be a proper handicap spot that can be utilized by an employee or anyone else in addition to the 2 that are in front.
If I was to park there tomorrow and not put my handicap placard on, I would still be subject to a parking ticket. So,
where?
As it is the one that's out back.
Yes.
That's my only comment is up front. It's inadequate as far as handicap spots.
They are the handicap spaces exceed the requirement based on the building and the building code.
It's not Home Depot, Peter. Or BJ's, I understand.
And part of this was to provide better accessibility, which we've done, and increased access for the public to this building, including everyone. Adding another handicap spot would take away literally 2 parking spaces. And so we would lose some of our gain that we're getting. So a decision's been made to better do the parking in the front and provide a true handicap space. So even though we have one that's striped in a drive aisle, we're providing additional handicap spaces.
We can agree to disagree.
And yes, we can.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Well, a couple of comments.
And one,
Well, I want to get into the landscaping. That's what we're here for, so get into it.
All right.
I've got a couple other comments, and then
All right, so
this.
I like the landscape layout, but I have the distinct impression that the town of Stoughton's not capable of maintaining a layout like this. So, what happened to the library is a perfect example. What's the and the other thing is is all of this going to be irrigated?
We do not have irrigation in the budget. So I know that, and it's not a requirement. We don't have irrigation in the budget. And I will let you know is that I've been heavily involved in the landscaping, the plan. The reason why there is, I consider this a design that is much more minimalist. It's base shrubs, some perennials, and and providing more trees. Very small plant beds on both sides, and very small plant beds and very small plant material around the benches, just providing a backdrop of some shrubs, some green, and some evergreen. We've really worked on, and I've worked with Ron on reducing it so we do not have, the initial, to be honest with you, one of the initial concepts that was presented had literally, between the parking and the street was fully planted like the library was. And I said, we can't maintain that. Right. We need to do grass, trees, and accent plantings around the pocket parks. So I believe that's what we've done.
All right. So my concern again is that, like any landscape that you see around anywhere, even people's houses, is it looks really nice when you put it in, and everything has its natural look to it, like a Delaware Valley white has a nice look to it. And then the hedge clippers come out, and all of a sudden we've got lollipops and created, nothing makes a rhyme or a reason, and I, like I said, I wish that maybe the town would hire somebody that could, pluck these things so that plucking is a technique of maintaining a size of a shrub like a Delaware Valley rhododendron, so that you never lose the true character of that plant. I like it and everything. The fact that we don't have irrigation for the lawn areas is, it's disheartening, because you can't have a nice lawn without irrigation.
Well, plus, the irrigation issue, and it's an overall issue in that they don't allow separate meters. It's not a problem for us because we don't pay the sewer bill and whatever. But a later discussion we can have at another time problem is there's watering bans in the summer, and they don't allow separate meters for irrigation. So it basically you get charged for your sewer. But
I don't have a double meter, but I pay the bill.
Correct. So, but I want you to know that
can we at least sleeve the areas so that if irrigation could come into the budget at some future time?
We could add that. That could be done in the construction document phase. That's easy.
Okay.
That's a little bit of conduit.
Nice.
So
I have a nice lawn. I don't have it.
But keep it tall. Don't.
So,
but that's this is an exposed heat area. You got to have irrigation.
When we spoke the last time, they talked about.
Ken, you're not on.
They talked about different areas being paved. I see you've taken that and it's kind of gone to stamped concrete to specify.
Correct. We cannot, under our grant, can use brick.
Much better with. One of the things they said, we couldn't use pavers. However, there's a detail on 521 that says concrete unit pavers. I'm trying to find out where that detail goes.
What page is that detail?
It's on page 21 of 27. I have detail 5. 3-inch thick precast concrete pavers.
I think that's just the relic detail.
Ron, could you address that?
Yeah, I think that needs to get switched out. We do have a brick band along the street edge that we are resetting, but I think that one needs to be switched out to the stamped concrete.
Okay.
We're not proposing any concrete unit favors on this project anymore.
Right, because I like we said, we talked about at the last meeting that I thought we would go pavers, and you said we couldn't do it. So that's fine. We're going to go to stamped concrete as long as it's not asphalt. I'm good with that. I saw the concrete pavers. I just didn't know where that was.
Yeah,
I couldn't.
That's a construction document thing, we've changed the site plan to indicate that. So when we get to the construction document, we will add that back. Remove this and add the detail on the stamped concrete.
Other than that, I think the plan overall is good. I think we're on much better straits than where we were, so.
I had one other comment, and that was the bollards in front of the parking spots there, in the front of town hall.
Yeah, and you're not on the plan at the moment, and I think the thinking is now that right now cars park right up against the building.
You have a bench there, right?
Yeah, it'll be.
After we put a curb, that's why we get rid of the bollards, because we're way where we have a curb.
Yeah, we've added 6-inch vertical granite curbs, sidewalk, and then we've added the benches.
Yeah, so we're pulling everything.
So, yeah.
Vertical.
Okay, well, with the 6-inch curb, and you have people pulling in forward, and what happens is if you look at most of the cars now, they have like a.
We've accounted for 2.5 foot overhang.
What's that?
We've accounted for 2.5 foot overhang to maintain in those areas to maintain the accessible way.
That's my only hang-up. Well, one of my two.
Right.
Thank you. Anybody else have any comments? What would you like, Bill?
I have prepared
let's make a deal.
I have prepared a recommended set of conditions.
Really?
That was forwarded to you. I am requesting that the board approve this project with the conditions that are identified. There's no special conditions. It's basically the standard conditions for site plan approval. And we will be going to construction documents in the shortly thereafter tonight.
Does anybody on the board have any questions, or do we have a motion that we can go forward with?
Motion to approve.
With the condition.
With the conditions.
May I have a second?
Find some money for that irrigation.
We'll put your sleeves in and we'll go from there.
Have a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye with reservation.
Thank you.
Listen, look.
We can sign after the
Item
meeting.
number 4.
Thank you.
It's going to take me longer to read this, so you're going to have time to discuss, Bill. A new public hearing will be held at the petition of the applicant, the Town of Stoughton, the Planning Board, and proposed amendments to the Town of Stoughton bylaws and zoning map as follows. To rezone portions of 59 and 51 Peters Drive as identified on Assessors Map 90, Lots 70 and 71 currently zoned I Industrial Zone to RB Residential Suburban Zone B. To rezone 15 and 37 Central Street as identified on Assessors Map 90, Lots 94, 95, and 96, currently zoned I Industrial Zone, RB Residential Suburban B Zone. To rezone 37 to 57 Dykeman Way as identified in Assessors Map 90, Lot 93, currently zoned I Industrial to GB General Business Zone. To rezone 130 Central as identified on Assessors Map 90, Lot 65, currently zoned I Industrial to GB General Business Zone. To rezone 120 Central as identified on the Assessors Map 90 and Lot 64, currently zoned I Industrial to GB General Business Zone, and to rezone the front approximately 240 feet of Assessors Map 90, Lot 63, currently zoned I Industrial to GB General Business Zone, and the remainder of the Lot 63 to rezone from I Industrial to RB Residential Suburban Zone B. The portions of 99 Central Street and 28 Dykeman Way as identified on Assessors Map 90, lots 91 and 92, currently zoned RB, residential suburban zone, to GB, general business zone, as shown on figure 1.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and it took me a lot longer to write that than it did for you to read it.
That's going to take you a shorter period of time to explain these 4 items.
Okay, I'm going to go from the top to bottom. Right here, we have 2 lots that are general business, Noria and what used to be, I think it's owned by some sort of church. The back portion of both of the lots, if you look at here, is zoned the RB. So we are just moving this line, as you see, we're moving that line to the property line. And then across on Dykeman Way, 37, 47, and 57 right here that you see, this lot, it's the discount furniture and whatnot. We were proposing to rezone that all general business. The 2 residential lots.
Can we get rid of all the signage that's on that building that leaves it?
Well, maybe he wants to redevelop it.
Redevelop it, he's going to take down all that signage.
I understand, yeah. And then the 2 residential lots that are adjacent to it, which is 37 and 15, proposing on rezoning those to RB. In addition, I did research, and the RB zone and the square footage is very similar to the residential zone which abuts it, which part of these properties are in Avon. So the lot size will be very similar. I think they're both 40,000 square feet. In addition, there's actually a 3rd lot down here. It's a small triangular lot that is part of a person's home in Avon. So we're rezoning that to residential as well. On the other side, where Peters Drive is, there's 2 single-family homes. 59, the house, you can see the industrial district bisects those 2 properties. We're proposing on moving that up to the property line of 130 and 120. So the 2 parcels on Peters Drive, the 2 single-family homes, their entire lots will be zoned single-family. The remaining of the zoning is you have the gas station at 130. We're proposing on zoning it general business. The business at 120, we are proposing to come to the back of their property line. We would so we have a known point, because we oppose, we're going to be split zoning it. We will take the property line and we will run it to the property line between 110, 188, as you can,
Why are we splitting?
Because the back half of the property is 100, a little over, less than 100 feet wide. It's currently zoned industrial. It is totally surrounded by single family. In order to develop single family, or in order to you couldn't utilize the property with setbacks in the general business or industrial. And I think it's good planning practice to not have to, rezone the back.
I know that, but our planning practice has always been not to split lots.
Correct, but we're splitting, this one, I'm recommending splitting it to a known point. It's well within the limits of what they can use, not to have a finger of general business or industrial that is, that somebody could come in and deal with setbacks and put storage containers or something on it. So that's
presently that owner could do that even with us changing the because it is zoned industrial right now, because he would be grandfathered into the use of that area.
Well, he's, and I will let you know, and I believe one of the attorneys is on for the property.
And the owner.
And the owner. I've spoken with them and I'll let them talk. But my recommendation is to not zone that last flag stem, to zone it residential, because it's totally surrounded by the residential, and either under industrial general business, for practical matter, developing it with the required setbacks would have a small strip that. So that is my rationale. If the board doesn't choose, they could say rezone it all general business. That is your purview. This is my recommendation. So.
Did the owner want to speak?
Actually, before he
Yes, please.
I'm sorry, excuse me, 1 second. One of the board members would like to speak.
I'm going to refuse myself from this because I'm actually a direct butter on, I'm at 60 Peters Drive, so I'm across the street. So I am refuse myself as a board member. That's all.
Okay, thank you.
Go ahead.
I have two concerns. It was mentioned already just a moment ago. I'm not super comfortable with the splitting of a lot, a single lot with two zones within it. Not that we would ever consider using that back corner because, like you said, it's just woods. But my issue is more changing the zoning from industrial, which currently is, to general business, because I believe the definition of general business indicates more of an interaction with the public, where industrial includes manufacturing. And my business is a manufacturing location.
Correct, but you would be able to.
You would be grandfathered in, and I appreciate that. But if I was to ever sell my business, would the next owner have a problem running the business as is on that location?
No.
No, and
it's a continuous business being used as a continuous business.
Yeah.
The only time you would have an issue, I believe, would he'd have to take down that existing building and change a use, and then he would have an issue where he would be sucked back into a general business.
Yeah. And I did reply, I think, to you, Mark, on that. It's a legal non-conforming use, commonly called grandfathering use. You can continue to operate as is. You can actually sell it. They can continue to operate. If the use ceases to exist for more than 2 years, then somebody would lose that ability. And in addition, the code allows the Zoning Board of Appeals to change one non-conforming use to another non-conforming use, which I included in my letter to you.
Thank you. So getting back to the first part, where if we split Zone 63 to two residential and general business on the same lot, does that affect my tax bill in any way?
No.
Your taxes are based on your use, not zoning.
Okay. Okay. And the whole thing makes me a little uncomfortable, if I'm being honest, only because, I hate poking a stick in a audit test. And I'm not sure really what your thinking is, taking away the industrial to an obvious industrial location.
So the idea,
since 1964, I think we built the building, and they've been running, nonstop since. I'm just wondering what the rationale really was.
We're trying to take areas of town that have almost like spot zoning for different items, so that we can make it more of a contiguous zoning areas, and that's just basically a cleanup of this area. The area behind you, the industrial, goes into residential properties to try to take that area away of being industrial. To have a residential house in an industrial zone doesn't make any sense either. So we're trying to clean that part of it up, and then just try to make it, the area is more of a general business area, not an industrial area. So it's not going to change your use or the future use, like Bill said, unless you abandoned that use for 2 years. That's not going to change anything from what you're presently doing at this point.
Right. Yeah. And I appreciate it. Well, thank you. You've allayed my concerns.
Yeah.
Appreciate you having me.
Yeah, and the other thing, Mark, is we could not zone just your lot and everything else general business, because the state attorney general's office would deny that zoning request. So because it would isolate one parcel. So we're looking at zoning it to the best use, which is general business. But all of your uses can continue. You can sell, and anybody that wanted to alter that use could look at another non-conforming use in the future through this.
You mean the next owner, whoever maybe would just make a presentation to you guys?
Yeah. Correct. Well, actually, that would be the zoning board of appeals. But I highly recommend that you keep the letter or the email I wrote you, and
I have it all.
Put it in the safe.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you very much. So can I have a recommendation from a board to, all we're basically doing is just saying we recommending this to go to
Town meeting.
Correct. If you want to recommend it as presented, or if you wanted to modify.
I make that motion to,
We're in favor. Motion that we are in favor of this rezoning.
Do I have a second for that?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate all the work you do.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And by the way, as an abutter, I will compliment you. On Peters Drive, we never hear you.
Did you hear the explosions on Jackson?
Oh, yes, that was unbelievable.
That was unbelievable. 5 or 6 in a row. We thought we were being attacked. There was a firewall higher than the trees at one point.
Oh, you saw the smoke and everything else.
Yeah, I think it was Vinny's, Anthony's paving in his backyard. Let him start exploding. Scary.
Yep.
Let me put it that way. Well, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. I'm going to go.
All right, item number 5, general business. We have meeting minutes. We have meeting minutes for August 14th, meeting minutes for July 17th to review. I have reviewed these online, so I'm okay. I'm not sure if anybody else. I know there was a correction.
I made your correction.
Okay.
To
the 14th, I made your correction.
On the 14th, he had approved.
Do you wish to see it, Peter?
I got it.
We did. We saw that, Peter. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I saw the email.
All right. Is there anything else that we're... anybody else want any comments on the meeting minutes?
No, I make a motion to approve them both.
Second.
All in favor on approving the meeting minutes from August 14th and July 17th?
Aye.
All in favor? Okay, great. You have an item here about the change in a stop for the Stoughton logistics area.
Hang on, I will get that. Yes, under other business, there is...
For another business now. I like the old one. I don't like the new one.
You can... Actually, I'll let Craig... I believe this is what we approved.
Yep.
Stoughton Logistics has asked us if they could go with something like this.
Yeah, they'll send me an email saying, "Hey, can we do something similar to, this other image here? Basically, 2 poles with like a
swinging bar.
Yeah, horizontal bar mounted with chains, so that if somebody hit it to swing, obviously that looks quite a bit different than what was originally approved.
Yep. That's my opinion. I don't want to.
Well, I agree too, because, something bigger than 8 feet can get through that if it's swinging like that too.
Yeah, they can just make it their way through.
So
I think we just, in my opinion, if we say with the original, there's no change in the...
What's the one that was originally approved?
Yes.
That one. Okay.
It's more of a solid structure.
Yeah. I also noticed the dimensions are just slightly off, but I mean, that's if you want to call it typographical error.
Let me share for the... So this is what was approved for anyone who's listening, and then this is what they want. So now I believe they could do some sort of messaging board. They could maybe like a little larger or smaller and put it where if somebody hit it, it didn't break it, it would move. So
Well, they do that in Starrow Drive and they still go through it.
yeah.
My other question on this is going to be right at Turnpike Street, correct?
Correct.
What's going to be at the other side, inside their lot, so trucks don't go out?
Well, they won't be able to get by that.
Won't be able to go by this.
Right, so what I'm saying is there should be something inside to prevent, to let the trucks know.
I believe it's just an employee parking. It's a employee parking area. You would have to really, you'd have to really, I think, wiggle around to even get around that area.
One of those California 18-wheeler drivers that ended up in Florida. See, have one up.
Right, have something at the other end, because at some point, let's say a food truck, and I'm just using that because it's high, shouldn't be going under an 8-foot, because they're more than 8 feet.
Right.
So
they'll have to they'll hit that, get there and turn around.
That's up to him.
Okay.
The next item, 1-year landscaping installation period is expired for the above project. This is the 207 Page Street, Milton Cat landscape bond release for $68,738.
Could you please vote that you don't approve of the requested change?
We don't have to vote on it. I just figured no. Can I have a motion to either accept or reject the change from the
requested change?
Requested change for Stoughton Logistics.
Motion to reject the amended change.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay. The next item is Milton Cat, actually in July, asked me to look at their landscaping, and I that's why I'm putting it on as other business, because it would have to wait until September, and it would be over a month and a half since they requested it. So I went and inspected it this morning with Nick from our office, and everything is in. Landscaping looks good. They've maintained it very well. Actually, there's like a wetland mitigation area that surprisingly looks pretty good too. Not my purview, but it was it's in and among the things. They maintain it. They've maintained it pretty well. They must have irrigated it.
Or it's on top of wetlands.
I have a vote to release the bond release for Milton Cat.
So made.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
One question I have, because I just by there today, is the Stoughton sign, welcome to Stoughton. Why do we put them so low? Because if they were to put plants in front of that, we're back to that same issue.
Yeah.
There's been an issue with that all along, Peter. I can't explain. I would end up.
I recommended a certain height, and they put it in lower. So
okay. Just as a general going forward, so that we're from the board and from you because I think there's some confusion over special permit approvals, or what we're actually approving and what we're not, and what we can approve and what we're not. And I think the idea that people keep talking, first off, I was kind of surprised with the looks of some of the people's faces when we brought up the site, because I don't think people even realized what site it was. But second off, they keep on talking about the size of the building or the size of the unit. With what we're doing, we're not even discussing that part of the job. All we're discussing in this whole thing is use, right?
The use?
The use is all we're really discussing
the special the special permit is for the use, right. And then the site plan review is for the site.
Correct, but the site plan review doesn't reject a project. The site plan review can only basically talk about what we want on the site. We can't reject a project through site plan review. So I guess that's my question, and how we're trying to clarify with what we're doing, not only this project, but all special permit projects going forward.
Right. If you have a site plan review with a special permit, it is a discretionary action, the use portion. It's not permitted as of right. So, so based on the use characteristics and the criteria for special permit, you could approve or deny the use. And if you deny the use, then the site plan is moot.
Is moot.
Now, under site plan, under site plan review, if we have a site plan review for a use that's permitted as of right, and I know that we've had some of you have privately said, I don't like that use. And I said, then change the zoning, because if you have a use that is permitted as of right, subject to just site plan review, the only way you can deny a site plan review is if an applicant refuses to meet any landscaping, lighting, stormwater. If they flat out refuse no, I don't want to provide drainage, meaning DEP stormwater management, then you can deny it.
But on a special permit, basically we can only deny for use.
Correct.
So if we say that the use is correct, for example, in this case, that it is an apartment building or whatever, also the general mixed-use building, the use is okay, then the review of the size of the building or other criteria on the site becomes part of site plan review.
Correct.
So we could approve the use and say, okay, well, we don't like 43 units, but you may want to go 35 units or 20 units, and that could be a mitigating factor in what happens?
Actually, that would be the use. That would be part of the special permit. You don't have discretionary, I don't think you have discretionary action, because they can show that they can put 43 units on the site and they can meet your site plan standards. They can meet parking. They can meet everything. So in this instance, there's no that. I would tell you, you should say that, well, I think that 43 units is not compatible, but 35 would be compatible. That's a use.
No, I disagree with that to a point. Because I think
you asked me.
The use is the mixed use, not the amount of units. Now, if you can
No, it is. Yes, it is.
It's a mixed use.
It's the mixed use project.
It's a mixed use project. So
Is a 43 unit mixed use building compatible? Yes or no? And you feel no. I think 35 with traffic. That's the use, because under site plan, you couldn't tell them to drop it to 35 units, because they would say you would lose in court, in my estimation, because you're restricting their use. Now, if they wanted a parking, if it was a use that was permitted, and they wanted a waiver to parking because they have 43 units and they can't meet their parking, then you could tell them, you could deny, but that's a special permit again, because parking is a special permit.
Right, but he's
if you want to reduce the project or a project, then you need to, you have it at the special permit stage, and it's the use. That's my opinion.
Okay.
So, because site plan, can they meet it? And they can meet.
But from a special permit point of view, we could say that the project is.
You could say it's too dense.
Then you're right. We only want to put 35 or 20.
Correct, and that's a special permit. That is the purview of the special permit.
Do that during the special permit process.
Correct.
But I think we're mixing use and thing, because I don't think the amount of units deal with the use.
There's the use, and then there's...
But the use is... The use is okay, right.
It's the use and intensity of use.
The intensity is site plan review.
No, the intensity of the use is the special permit.
No, the use is the special permit. The intensity...
I think, ask Mr. Winter.
I will have to, because I think the intensity has to do with when we do site plan review, we deal with the intensity of the site. That's the site plan review.
I have a question as far as they're only allocating, 1,200 square feet for a business?
That point is moot. That's a new point. It's still making a mixed use. We didn't define mixed use in the code.
Now, if you want to in the future say that X percentage of the first floor or whatnot, That's a code
For
change.
example, the downtown area,
There's no definition.
we defined it in the downtown area, but we never defined it beyond the downtown area.
And should that probably be revised? Probably.
But it's not defined right now.
If time for town meeting.
Huh?
Well, it's not in time.
We're too late for this project.
Yeah.
For this project.
For this project, correct. So.
That's something we should clean up because it's.
But that's a pretty lengthy process. It's not just, it's X amount of square feet.
Yeah.
Like I said, if you went with, okay, the whole first floor has to be commercial.
But you can't, but when you want parking under because you're trying to limit the amount of site parking.
That's what held up the whole of the.
That's what held up across the street.
Yeah. So you should
It's
probably.
very lengthy. It's not just if you look in the zoning code for the downtown, we have a lot of definition resulting around how the how the mixed use gets worked due to corner lots, due to parking areas, and due to percentage of building areas. There's a whole part of it in this downtown.
And I will let you know, in looking at it and really thinking about it, and actually talking to Brian Winter, the way mixed is defined, you could do if you had a larger parcel, I believe somebody could come in with a mixed-use development.
A separate building.
Which would have separate buildings, commercial buildings and multifamily buildings, and no commercial in the multifamily. If it's done as one development, that would be a mixed-use development, and I believe that that is allowed under our code.
Is that like University Ave has that?
University Ave is a planned development. That is a completely different issue. What he's talking about is say you took the 12-acre lot behind it and you put a commercial building out front on Pleasant Street and then did, 100 units in the back, that would be a mixed-use development.
Correct.
Even though it's not connected.
And even though it's not connected, I believe our code would allow that.
That's kind of similar in Easton where that Stone Forge is. They put a bunch of apartments in behind that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm just trying to make sure that we as a board are understanding where we are on the same page.
I believe the special permit for mixed use, I believe that you have I think that the intensity of use is the impact of the use itself, and that's under the purview of the special permit.
So in the case of this situation,
I can't hear you.
It's in the case of this situation, the special permit was for the parking.
No,
there was two special permits.
That was
changed it, yeah.
Right.
Now,
There
now he's not
was no
asking.
special permit for the parking now.
Yeah, so there's no special permit at all on
No,
this.
it's a special
The
permit.
general business, the mixed-use building is still a general permit. It's still a special.
Yeah. There were two special permits.
All right, so
General business to mixed use.
No, mixed use is part of general business. And we're allowing it as per a special permit. So what he tried to do is to basically take away having two separate special permits. Right. Came down to having one special.
Well, but the consensus of the board was that you wanted all the parking.
No, that was the discussion. I don't think it was a consensus.
You took a straw poll consensus.
It wasn't part of my thing.
So,
well, I thought that maybe
everyone said
we weren't going to give the special permit.
There was a majority of the board that said they wanted all the parking.
Yeah, I said.
What did you say as far as that?
I said that the denying of that special permit was making him put all the parking in.
Right.
So that was
Okay, but now he's put all the parking, and what we've done is we've taken away.
I believe we shouldn't really discuss the merits, Mr. Chairman.
Should we?
I wouldn't discuss the merits.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You're right. We can't discuss.
So you asked me about special use in general.
Special
I'm
use in
using,
general
I'm
is what I
using
was
that
asking
project as a hypothetical.
Right, you're right. We shouldn't have gotten into specifics. I was asking in general and the specific on the special permit. That's what I was doing. But I can't get into specifics.
Yeah, I believe density is part of special permit in a mixed-use development.
I think I agree to disagree, and maybe I will ask the question. But okay.
I know that feeling.
And you have the final word.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to close the meeting, please?
So made.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Thank you.
Well,